All right, guys. So in this live stream, we're going to cover quite a few tickers: S&P 500, Bitcoin, Boeing, JD, Microsoft. We're going to take a look at Sol. Hey, AV. Theta looks like it's moving in the right direction now. I would still remain bullish in Theta. And so we probably turn this into support right here. Here at the end of the day. With this drop being like over the weekend most likely, or it could commence like this hour if we're early in the sequence of events. But I think first we want to see this established successfully as support, at least temporarily. And so if you've been following around along with the Discord trade alerts, then hopefully you're in a straddle here. We didn't come down nearly as far as I expected for that Empress card, but that was still opportunity to get into the long. And so if you're in a long leg and not a short leg, I highly recommend getting into a short leg. It's probably more near-term time horizon to exit the short, and then a bit longer-term time horizon to exit the long. But to be in a straddle right now is probably your best bet, because there could be a pretty sharp drop here. This unicursal, if we don't see a sharp drop at the end of the day, it makes a sharp drop over the weekend a lot more likely to take place. And if it doesn't, if we open higher in the pre-market, then we should have that sharp drop taking place in the pre-market into this trough here before 11 o'clock probably. What I would do in that situation, I'm probably not going to be on Monday, FYI guys, because I've got a dentist appointment. I couldn't change the time. So what you want to do is probably exit the short there around that time, either first thing in the morning or wait a little bit for this trough, this low, before 11 o'clock most likely. And then in the midst of that low, what I would do is I would close the short for profit, probably open up another long position, so that the long position I had for the straddle, when we move back in that direction, I'm not going to wait for a profit on that. I'm going to close out of that one most likely when it hits even, because what I would have done, well, I'm not going to do this personally, but this is what I would do. What I would have done is opened up a new at the money call in the morning there, and that's where the gains would come in. But overall, the reason why I say straddle is because my sense is that overall we probably have more upside going on. I didn't see these as highs, but reading the chart against the reading with this bit of knowledge right here changes expectations of where these highs are. They're definitely coming a little bit later in the month. That's my sense anyways. Because these are not marked as highs. There's nothing here saying highs except maybe the prudence card, but that's really not, it's not saying highs. It's really not saying highs. So that makes me think that we should see higher price levels. And usually that's what happens when I'm off a little bit on the timing of something like that. If you've been following the channel for a long time, then you know when I'm wrong on something, like, have you ever seen the whole reading wrong? It's usually like just a little piece. So keep that in mind, my friends. Hey, it was luck. Is QQQ going higher? And those tickers, I'm going to take care of those in just a moment. I want to cover these things I got on the list first. All right, so we had a pretty solid expectation. I advised people to open up a partial short position within this green ellipse. The fact that we've broken through, this is clearly opportunity here to open up more short position, and the expectation is to close it within this red ellipse tomorrow most likely. But the previous trade, opening up a long, closing the long here, that worked out even though we were a little early. Still worked out as a trade. So these trades have been pretty solid all month for Bitcoin. Now, if we don't see like some significant move to the downside into this area tomorrow, then very, very likely these are going to be higher highs here on the 13th and the 15th. Depends on how far down we actually go, I think. All right, and it looks like Boeing is maybe establishing support here. So the one thing about the end of October is on a on a 1 year chart scale, if we do end up having the lowest low transpire here, this should be a really big move to the upside out of it, because this is the strength ruin indicating a big move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range starting out of a decline. And then this could very easily be indicating that we have a highest high. This correlated is close enough, plus or minus 2 weeks, right? So this highest high is within range. The fortune card could be a significant move. The strength card, this is indicating it. So it'll be a prominent peak even if it's not a highest high. We should see a prominent peak taking place there in November. And I would probably, when identifying the levels of highest highs, I'd probably, for Boeing, I would probably not include this piece right here. Like I said, readings can kind of bleed into each other's on the edges. That's how you remain safe using ESO Meta. Oh, Alibaba. I was thinking Boeing. All right, let's take a look. I'm gonna take a look at QSMPJOBY first. Will any of these rise 50 to 100% or more in the next year? So you mean within 2025 or within a year from now? Let's go with the end of 2025. Between now and the end of 2025. I got a no for all three of those. Is QQQ going higher tomorrow towards the close? You mean on Monday? Oh, into the close, sorry. So that's kind of difficult. Based on the SPY reading, we should have kind of sidewaysy behavior or the start of a sharp decline taking place here. If we've got the start of a sharp decline here, and you get a good profit on a short, then it might make sense to close out the short leg. But there's a chance you're missing out on a big gain here. The reason why I like the straddle idea is because there's a chance you're not missing out on a big gain here. You know, it's a little, the possibility is there, but because we open higher in the pre-market, most likely, it's a little interesting. I see a lot of price range taking place. The fortune card especially making that seem realistic. I gotta know for is the QQQ going higher into the close? It's probably like SPY where it's sideways rotation, maybe starting a decline. Oh, good memory, AV. I asked the other day if it's a new, if it's a new ticker, let me know, or You could also tell me if it's not a new ticker. Appreciate it. And then after that question, Evie, I'm going to cover these other ones that I have on the list. And we're going to cover Alibaba as well. My next recording window, astrologically speaking, is coming up starting Sunday. That's when I plan on recording that UPST multi-year for you, Ava, and then it should probably be out by the end of the week, most likely. The multi-years are I can turn those out pretty fast. It's really a matter of where the next recording window is, how long it takes me sometimes. All right, so for the remainder of October, so it's based on that purple line. Chances are we're going to hit that 50 mark here in October. And it would make sense because we're in breakout territory. This is super bullish. There is a higher probability of a reversal here because we're right at the 70 mark basically on RSI. But this trend probably continues. Oh, that's super bullish when you put it up against that trend line. That does look pretty bullish there. Oops. Oh, I wish I could draw a trend line here for you, but it doesn't let me. Because you can often, you'll see trend lines like that type of stuff taking place with RSI. But when you're super bullish, you're going to be up at this range, guys. There's a high probability of a reversal, but usually you dance around there. You go sideways, you poke back into it a little bit when you're talking about new highs or major highs of some kind. And let's confirm that bullish behavior for the remainder of October. Prince of Swords. So there's a lot of price change covered, and probably we'll be dealing with resistance levels. Not necessarily breaking through, but you've got resistance here around the $50 mark. To be on the safe side, if I was looking for an exit, I would probably yeah, I would probably exit right around these price levels. Even though it's most likely going to go higher, I like to be safe as always. And the next trade, it looks like in November, is where you would get into another long position on a multi-day kind of scale. Oh, I missed that Meta GS question. Sorry, it was like IONQ. Oh, boom, look at that, guys. This is I would exit here based on this. Man, I should start putting the date that I put that ellipse up so I can remember, but that was clearly a while ago because I don't even remember having this chart. I just do too many. But that looks clearly like a planned exit, so I would probably do the same there, even though most likely it goes a little bit higher based on what the RSI is looking like. It's risky, you know. If you've got a good gain, that's where I would exit. Meta GS next week and open higher. Oh, and for the remainder of October for IONQ. I got the devil card. I would definitely exit. it's unclear about direction, but one clear thing is clear: you clearly have a profit right now. If you do, now's the time to take it before we start dealing with the devil card energy for sure. All right, so Meta and GS next week. Will they open higher or lower on Monday? Thinking about going long nowish. That might be a little risky. Let's take a look. Jeez, such a tickle on my throat. Does look pretty bullish from a technical standpoint. And I was pretty on point about this as well. Wasn't the very end of September, it was more like the beginning of October, but I sensed that pretty big move coming. All right, so the remainder, or next week, let's say, for Meta. I got a pop and drop next week. Overall. So the Princess of Discs on Monday, a lot of price change. It may be that we open higher with a significant move to the downside. But if you've got a good gain, probably not a bad place to take it, based on RSI and all that. We've got a move higher, pop and drop on Tuesday through key resistance. We stay above, briefly break back down, usually creating a peak. Sideways rotation Wednesday with a fast move higher. 3 pokes through the same trend line on Thursday with a sharp drop off at the third poke. And then sideways rotation along key support on a multi-day scale, followed by a big move higher, followed by more sideways rotation at a higher price level, all taking place on that Friday. That was Meta. But always go with that overarching trend that I first start with, which is for the overall week. That was by the day, but the overall week was a pop and drop, so keep that in mind. And GS. Oh. I could have sworn I had something for GS. Oh wow, that looks very bullish. First glance, this looks very, very bullish. But let's see what the cards have to say. From a technical standpoint, this definitely looks bullish to me. That's a pretty notable. Well, we're right there at breakout territory, actually. So we need to close above that price level, and that would be a pretty good indication that we're going higher. But we're right at that price level. So let's see what the cards have to say. Overall, next week is a rally offering opportunity to close longs, open up shorts. Whoa. All right, so it looks like we probably open higher on Monday for Goldman Sachs, and there's a peak, significant peak on the multi-day scale that we're going to sell off from pretty notably. Notable multi-day kind of scale price swings on Tuesday, a crest on Wednesday that will sell off from down 2 and through support, and then we'll do a U-shaped reversal below that price level, break through it and to the upside and reuse it as support. A decline through multiple support levels on Thursday, and I got the unicursal on Friday overlapped with the star card. So my sense is that we probably have a sharp drop starting on Thursday, taking us into Friday. Yeah, with an unexpected move to the upside on Friday, probably towards the end of the day. But it looks like we do open higher on Monday for that one. That was Goldman Sachs if you're just jumping on. All right, so what else do I got to take a look at? Sol? Solana is looking pretty solid on our multi-day trade, right? We had an entry here, so anybody that's familiar with these ellipses that I draw on the charts understands you want to open up a partial as soon as we enter into the range of one of these red ellipses. You want to open up a partial long position, right? And then if we go further into it, you add to the long position. So hopefully people followed along and they did that here. It looks like we're already on our way to the upside. Not so sure we've seen a low for the month yet. That's a little bit difficult to determine. We might have seen a high for the month. We might have. It's possible because this is a love card kind of energy here. Break through key resistance momentarily, come back down. This is also kind of love card energy, but it's not. Obviously, we didn't go high enough there. I think we probably see higher price levels here at the end of the month. Either way, I would advise holding this longer term into the highs that we have here in November, probably in early November, early to mid November. What's interesting is that I'm seeing a sharp decline in some altcoins in November. I'm not seeing anything really indicating that in November for Solana. I mean, the Ace of Wands does imply that there's going to be a turnaround there, and that's a good place to exit out. But I don't see anything like sharp, crazy decline in Solana. So it might be one of the really, really strong ones finishing off the year. It would make sense. I've been super bullish on it for a long, long time. I think it was like $50 or something. I don't remember with Solana how what it was at when I started looking at it. You might, and it's not to say that we won't come back down to this price level either. We may very well come back down to this price level. I probably put this ellipse here over here. And in that case, hopefully people were smart enough to see that we're within the price range of an entry point and added a little bit there. But if not, they got in here anyways. JD and Microsoft. That looks like it's on its way towards what we were expecting. Oh, this is on a 1 month chart. Sorry, guys. I hate it when it does that. Really throws me off. Even so, this does look bullish. We had a little bit of a comeback down. We probably do a bit more, but overall the cards are saying to the upside for this. All right, so overall, between now and the end of, between now and a week from this Friday, that like 2 week period, for JD, it looks like overall we're gonna have a decline offering opportunity to open up a long position. Decline in the first week, so next week offering that ends with a fast and move higher. And then the week after that, out of a decline, big move from the bottom of range to the top of a range. So there's a resistance level on Monday that you will decline from and then return to either on Monday or on Tuesday, Wednesday. Pretty bullish on Tuesday, fast to move higher on Wednesday, decline increasing with momentum on Thursday, decline to revisit a support level important on a multi-day scale on Friday, mixed sideways decline uh, on the coming Monday, which is what? That's the 21st. Sideways rotation and a sharp drop on the 22nd. In the midst of that sideways rotation, we have a sharp drop that'll stand out. Usually revisiting support that was recently a past opportunity. A pretty big move to the upside unexpectedly on that Wednesday, usually out of some sort of scary chart behavior where we'd expect to go lower. Another notable move on a multi-day scale to the upside on that Thursday, which is 24th, and then on the 25th we decline to and through support to meet another support and rotate sideways along that one. Wondering if Apple and Google will open higher or lower on Monday. All right. I got a no for Apple. We don't open higher on Monday. And then for Google, oh guys, I also want to let you guys know we've changed the pricing on the Total Access subscription to make it more accessible. You can now get it on a monthly basis. I'll show you guys how to get that at the end of the reading, or at the end of the live session, if you're interested. Wait, what the heck? What happened here? Yeah, so this is one that either there's going to be a really sharp drop there. Matter of fact, there might actually be a really sharp drop there. Ooh, there might be a really sharp drop there. Because we just went straight up and created a high here for the month, um, which we have indicated here. So we nailed that high, provided that we don't go up on Monday. And my sense is that we probably are going to have a pretty notable drop, because what'll happen is you'll hit resistance and then you'll decline from it and return back to it. And that's probably what happens on that coming Tuesday. So we decline from it pretty notably over the weekend into Monday, and then rally on that coming Tuesday. Either that Tuesday or that Thursday is when we'll most likely revisit it. Probably Tuesday. There's a sharp drop on the cusp of Tuesday, Wednesday. Ooh. Hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the video for Google October, I probably said really difficult to determine where the lowest low, probably left out specifically where I think it is because it's just so difficult. A couple places where it might be, but it's not reliable to bet on that because it just wasn't clear enough. I'm sure I said that. All right, I got some more time here, so I'm gonna go over Alibaba next. Alibaba was like one of the uh, first stocks that I sold professionally. God, what it was like 2006 probably, 2007, 2006, something like that. Oh wow, what a move! Sorry guys, I have such a like tickle in my throat. My God. So Alibaba for over the next 2 weeks. So by the end of by the 25th for Alibaba, we should be significantly to the downside, revisiting a support level that was recently a past opportunity. All right, so Magus card for next week. Yeah, okay, so you probably want to close along on Monday. There's a unicursal hexagram on that on Friday. What is that? The 15th or the 18th? Friday the 18th. There's a unicursal hexagram there as well. I think I pulled the same thing for one of the readings we did in this live stream. You would close out of it on like, well, might be make more sense to close out of a long there on Monday, not get into a short per se, but you might be able to get into a short on Wednesday or Thursday more like, and then the following week a decline offering opportunity to open up a long. Most likely that decline is on Monday, opening up a long. You would close it on probably Friday the 25th. That was Alibaba if you're just joining us. And then what else? Microsoft. Somebody had asked me about Microsoft. All right, so we have a failed attempt to break through key resistance on a multi-day scale, followed by decline through key support. So overall bearish for the next 2 weeks. Bullish overall for the first week. So next week, the star card, an unexpected move to the upside. Ooh, Magus card on Monday. So there's a notable trade opportunity on Monday, probably in the midst of a decline. Yep, brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline on Monday. And then it looks like you probably close out of that on Wednesday. It's looking more like bearish price swings. First 2 days overall probably bearish. What is that? That's the 21st and the 22nd. A bit of a rally on the 23rd. Multiple failed attempts to break through resistance on the 24th, and then a notable move to the upside on the 25th. But overall for that week, we've got the moon card for Microsoft there. So overall bearish price swings are overall to the downside. All right, guys, so if you're interested in the Total Access subscription, which is now a subscription as well, to make it more accessible for people, that gives you access to everything on the website, basically. All of our one-year readings, the stock picker readings, all that stuff. The way that you get it you go to our website, tarotfortraders.com, hover over Order Now, click on Subscriptions, and we've got Total Access right here. It's no longer a year. That should be changed. And this is $500 a month to make it more accessible. We did make the year... Oh, he left out the $500 a month. All right, I got to remind him, this is supposed to be updated at $500 a month. It's not right now. But like I said, the 1 year was going to go up, and it did. So if you snap that up at a discount, congrats on that, my friends. All right, guys, about 7 minutes left. Let's see where we are at with the... Yeah, so we're basically, like I said, establishing support along this price level here. And the fact that we haven't seen a sharp drop here, especially with the RSI moving to the downside like that. Ooh, 1 minute chart. Hold on, I hate that. I like the standard look at a 5 minute chart. But even so, we've got some attempt to establish some support here. And since we... Yeah, so we're going to probably move more sideways. And then that unicursal will be to the downside on this coming Monday. That full card might be the bottom of a really sick drop. It's possible. The other version is that the unicursal is marking off a price level here, an important price level on a multi-day scale, that if we continue to go higher in the next few days, it'll be a price level that we can count on breaking down through in the next multi-day decline. That's the way it works. Usually it's a pivot point to the downside with a sharp drop, but there are cases where it won't be. And in those cases, it ends up being a price level marker. More about that stuff in the Investor Profit University that'll be launching probably the first quarter of 2025. And I just want to let everybody know, normally there's a regularly scheduled Monday morning live stream, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Most likely I will not be on that. A matter of fact, I definitely will not be on that this coming Monday because of my dentist appointment. So if you're following along with Discord alerts, make sure you're following the ellipses as outlined. Don't wait for me to give you an alert because I will not necessarily be there to do so on Monday. Last Q, Riot, a good buy opportunity end of October, similar to Bitcoin. I got a no for that. And with that said, guys, I'm going to roll. Thank you all so much for watching. Blessings to all my angel investors. You know where to go.